So I literally went from $8 in my bank account, working 4 jobs, broke as hell, unhappy, disordered eating, partying. I used to be so insecure, Ellen, to now I own a company worth tens of millions of dollars. I'm living my dream life. I'm the happiest and healthiest I've ever been. I'm in a relationship that I could have only dreamt of. I am able to give back to my family. That transformation happened because of my unwavering commitment to becoming my best self.
Mimi Bouchard is a science-backed manifestation expert and thought leader in the self-improvement and wellness space.
We all have something in our brains called the RAS, the Reticular Activating System. And this is essentially a filtration system. It brings to our attention the things that it believes are important. If you're thinking about buying a red car, you start seeing it everywhere.
She's helped thousands transform their lives through her obtainable and pragmatic approach to personal development. And she is the founder of the groundbreaking activations apps called Superhuman.
You must first become the version of you that has what you want before you ever have that thing you want. Clarity is one of those things that so many people just wait for, but you have to go out and find it. I wanted to go out there and feel the energy of my future. I always knew the power of inspiring music, Ellen. Literally that moment in a song that just makes you feel alive. It gives
really
you the
does.
goosebumps. Why do you think movies and TV shows have music in the background? You don't even notice it, but it sets the tone. It tells you how to feel.
We cover top keys to unlocking your dream life, how to create your wealthiest, happiest, and healthiest life, manifestation hacks, and future self frequency energy.
I'm a lucky person. Opportunities are everywhere. If your ideology of the world is that you are not a victim, that you are empowered, guess what is going to happen? Your RAS is going to be triggered in a certain way.
What do you recommend the first steps they take?
There is so much noise out there. Every single self-help expert is going to tell you this 10-step process, and it's going to be complex. It's actually so much easier than everyone thinks. There's 2 steps. The first one is,
would you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, and the follow button if you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify? We can see through analytics that only 9% of you who watch this podcast regularly are subscribed to the channel. And I'd love to get that number up because it helps this channel a ton to continue bringing valuable content to you all. Thanks so much. I so appreciate it. Let's get into the episode. Mimi, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I am so excited to finally meet you. I have admired you from afar, and I think you're such a cool individual helping so many people, and I can't wait to learn more about your story. So for those listening for the first time, learning who you are, can you please share what your life was like before you had this 180 transformation and what's been happening with you?
oh my goodness, Ellen, I'm so excited to be here with you in New York, first of all. That's a big loaded question, so let me try to articulate. My story has it's been a wild ride essentially since I've started this transformation journey. It all started around a decade ago. I was in my late teens and I had realized that something had to change. I was at the lowest point I've ever been in my life. And I don't know if it was because I was raised in a big city. I had a big sister who influenced me at a young age. She was kind of, a bad teen. And, I just was exposed to a lot at a young age that put me down the wrong path. It kind of all started when at 12 years old, I had my first drink. I started drugs. I, did everything very young and lost myself in the process. So in my teenage years, I was doing a lot of partying. I developed serious self-image issues. I had disordered eating. I self-harmed. I was really in a bad place, and I completely lost myself during that time. And I got to a rock bottom, and at around 18 years old, I started getting into the world of self-development. It kind of happened at the perfect time. I was given my first personal development book at that time, and this was back when self-help was not cool. No one really did this at that time. But for some reason, there was something inside of me that was ready to read it. I had reached this point where I just hated myself. I hated how I felt in my body. I hated, just where I was going in life. And I knew deep down that there was always this tiny voice that told me that there was more for me in this world. I always felt like, I had this voice and I had suppressed it in my teenage years. And I ignored it, but it was just this voice that was like, there's more to this world that you can experience. And I think we all have that voice. But I listened to it. So I read this book, and that was just the beginning of this crazy long journey for me. And I, started reading dozens more books, and I started to, listen to all of the audiobooks or podcasts that I could about self-development. I really wanted to be successful. That was the original driver for me. My parents didn't have a lot of money. They're struggling artists growing up, and I was raised in a household where money was always a big stressful issue. It was what caused the fights. It was what caused the yelling matches. It was what, it was always the source of negativity, is the lack of money. I'd, go to my mom's art studio and see her crying because her piece of pottery broke that she had spent 20 hours on, and that was what we were going to be, relying on. And it was just really hard. So when I was getting into this work, it was because I kind of wanted I wanted success. I wanted to take this life into my own hands. And I also wanted to do something different, because one of the principles in the book that I had read for the Success Principles is what it's called, that first personal growth book I read. One of the principles was, you become an average of the 5 people you surround yourself with most. So at the time, I was about to drop out of my first year in college in Canada. I'd actually gotten a part scholarship to go there. And, I thought that's what I was supposed to do, but I just it wasn't. And I realized around that time, I dropped out after my second semester, right? I realized around that time that, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to create something big. And then I left and I moved to London, England. I'm originally from Canada. And I just kind of created this different life, but it happened over years and years. It all stemmed from that first personal development book that I had read. And I started doing all the things. I started becoming just enamored with this work. I would write every single day. I would get really, really clear on what I wanted. I would do the vision boards. I just loved how I felt when I was evolving. And this was, again, almost a decade ago. And over that time, so much has transformed. It was never a linear journey. It's not like I started from point A and I just went upwards to point B where I am today. It was ups and downs, especially for the first 5 years. And when I moved to London, I still went out and partied, and I still wasn't being my best self. But slowly but surely, I really became this person. And I tried so many different entrepreneurial ventures. Most of them failed. And then over the past 4 years, I've, created this business that I now have. So I literally went from $8 in my bank account in London, working 4 jobs, broke as hell, unhappy, disordered eating, partying, alcohol, drugs, to now I own a company worth tens of millions of dollars. I'm living my dream life. I'm the happiest and healthiest I've ever been. I'm in a relationship that I could have only dreamt of with the man of my dreams. And I live between the Bahamas and London, and I travel all the time, and I am able to give back to my family, and I'm a provider for a lot of people in my life. And I've created a business that helps tens of thousands of people every single day. And I can honestly say that transformation happened because of this work that I do, because of the self-image that I've developed over time to create this life, because of my unwavering commitment to becoming my best self. And I just, the transformation is radical, but I will also say that every single day, I have to work on being my best self. Even just this morning, I had to do an activation in the car coming here because I was not feeling super good. And then it just transformed my mood. So it's even when you get there, you still have to do the work, but it just becomes something that you enjoy doing.
Like a habit
Yeah.
throughout your whole life. Katori Life has the most beautiful 100% ethical recycled gold, bronze, and silver jewelry. My absolute favorite is their Orion's belt ring with champagne diamonds that mirrors the belt of the Orion. Seen in the sky for thousands of years, many ancient cultures watched for this constellation with reverence because as it rose, it carried the promise of spring, new life, and rebirth. There's never been a better way to support ethically sourced fine jewelry than from Katori Life, who are lovers of the earth and all of her magic, and whose ethos is slow fashion fashion, providing generous, fair wages to all their employees. Get an exclusive 20% off Katori Life with any purchase entering my code Ellen Fisher. Every piece, like I've said before, plants 10 tiny trees. So you not only get an incredible deal, but feel really good about planting a tiny forest too. Get your new jewels at katorilife.com. That's CATORILIFE.com. This deal is only available for a limited time with my code Ellen Fisher. I definitely have found that sometimes when you're ready to make that change. It just takes that one tool. It takes one thing, and then it just catapults you to this whole new direction in your life. I've had experience like that as well in my life. So what is the biggest tool that you found to be the best way to transform your life? What helped you transform, like the biggest thing?
The biggest realization that I had, the biggest tool that I've used, well, you can do this in a few ways, but the biggest thing is becoming who you want to be before getting there. So you must first become the version of you that has what you want before you ever have that thing you want. You need to adjust your self-image first. And the biggest tool that I have used to get there is what I now call activations. And these are these visualization-based audios that literally change your state so much in everyday moments. So it makes this process so much more familiar and honestly way more effortless than other tools that I've used, because you don't need to carve out this like new habit that takes 20 minutes a day to use activations. You just need to listen to it in everyday moments, like habit stacking. So obviously activations didn't exist when I was first starting on this journey. So what I would actually do, and this is how this concept came to be, is it all started when I tried meditating and I couldn't stick to it. You know, I was doing all the things that these experts told me to do, and I just couldn't stick to it for the life of me. I was bored. I know it was good for me, but I was bored, and I wouldn't stick to something that I didn't truly enjoy. I just didn't feel that different afterwards. I didn't understand how doing something to clear my mind would help me reach my goals. I was impatient. I wanted to go out there and feel the energy of my future, and these audios weren't hitting it for me. So intuitively, I remember I was in my like 200 square foot studio apartment in London. Intuitively, one day I was thinking, I want something to like listen to that can make me feel like my future self. I don't want to just have the ability to feel this way when I'm journaling or like really focused on it. I want a tool that I can use, that I can listen to in everyday moments, because, you know, that's easy for me. So intuitively, I took out the voice memos app on my phone and I just started speaking my future into existence. I was speaking affirmations, motivational, guidance, and explaining these visualizations like it was already happening in the moment. I would describe in depth what it would feel like, to have $1 million in my bank account, to not be stressed about money, to be able to do these things I've always wanted to do, to have a successful company. I would visualize every tiny little thing I wanted. And I would listen to this audio, while I was cooking dinner, while I was walking to the bus stop, while I was just living my life. And then I got bored of it after a few days because I listened to it too much. And then I created a new one. And then I created another one. And I created all these different ones. And then I ended up recording them on my podcast microphone at the time, because 6 years ago I had a podcast. And then I would add in GarageBand inspiring music, because I always knew the power of inspiring music, Ellen. Like literally that moment in a song that just like makes you feel alive. It gives
really
you the
does.
goosebumps.
That's such a good point.
Music.
Because you can hit on like a certain song, and it can even be in a specific time of your life. It's not like every time you listen to it in the next months and months, it's going to have that same impact. But you hear it for the first time or the second time, there's something about it that you just get up and you have to move it. It creates something in you, and you have emotion just from music.
Well, why do you think movies and TV shows have music in the background? You don't even notice it, but it sets the tone.
It sets the tone.
It tells you how to feel.
Because you can have one clip happening, and if you put one kind of song, and then you take it out and you put a different kind of song. And I do this all the time with YouTube. Like in my YouTube videos, I'm looking for, like a feeling. There's this one moment. I can think of a really good example. Sorry to cut you off in your story, but I want us to emphasize this power of music. That's so beautiful and such a good point. When I'm editing a video of mine, there's this time when my kids and I are playing outside and we have like the hose and the kids are all giggling and they're like helping me with the garden, but then it turns into this game where we're like hosing each other. And what type of music did I need for that? It was a very specific type of music that I needed for that one moment. I was searching on my account that I have where I have music I can use for YouTube, and then this one song popped up and it was like this like dun, 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 like this little goofy little song, but it was so sweet, and I put it there and it created this magical moment from that song. Sorry, continue.
It made your viewers feel something. How you feel creates your life. Your energy, feeling is energy inside of you.
I'm kind of blown away right now that you like connected those two, of that mindset,
use music
words
to
and
your
the music.
advantage. Use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Like, so basically, I decided, because I loved the power of music, so I found these inspiring songs and I put it all together because, you know, just me talking got pretty old, and it wasn't, I wanted something more. I wanted to combine all the tools that I knew into one.
Yeah.
So I then created these audios, and, you know, sometimes I would listen to them with my eyes closed, like a traditional meditation, but sometimes I wouldn't. Like, I just kind of listened to it whenever, wherever. And then something crazy started to happen. My life started to change.
Wow.
Those first 5 years of my transformation, I grew at such a slow rate. Once I started implementing activations into my life, it was like the most insane like graph you could see. It's like growing, and then boom. I have changed so much in my life since activations, and I found out the science behind it. Like, I was actually so curious, why is this one thing working? There are so many scientific reasons to back this. But one of the main ones being when you link new thoughts and beliefs to everyday actions, your brain starts to change. So just like the Pavlov dog theory, you know, Pavlov rings the bell, the dog salivates. Just like that, if you're listening to a walking activation, when you're walking to work every morning, soon enough, you don't even need the activation to feel wealthy and confident and empowered and magnetic. It just happens. So this is the hack. Why close your eyes in the morning for 20 minutes, feel amazing, but then open up your eyes and go on with your day feeling like the exact same human that you were yesterday? You need to change your state in these everyday moments while you're cooking, while you're doing dishes, while you're at the gym, like in any moment of the day. And you don't need to do it throughout your entire day. You know, you can listen to it for 20 minutes a day and it will have the effects. So you can choose what you want to habit stack. But the power of these activations lies in the combination, this very unique combination that you can't find in any other audio, which is the motivational guidance, the visualization, the insanely epic, beautiful, feeling evoking music. And then just the background of it fundamentally being all about changing your self-image to match with your future self-image, because that's the foundation of my work. Your self-image creates your life. If you want to learn more about it, the father of self-image psychology, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, in the 50s and 60s, he created he was the father of the self-image psychology movement. He wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. It is a very interesting book. Highly suggest reading it. And it's all about how you see yourself creates your life. It creates your personality, it creates how you think, how you speak, how you hold yourself. And that literally, it determines whether or not you are going to be wealthy and successful, whether or not you are going to be in thriving relationships, whether or not you are going to be healthy, whether or not you're going to make the right decisions every day. Because it's not about, Ellen, this is revolutionary, because it is not about forcing yourself to do the habits that you know you should be doing. It's about hacking
it's
the
about
system.
Your heart, and it's kind of like your heart. Like your heart doesn't feel it until right.
Yes, but it's hacking the system.
Right.
First, why go through the treacherous, act of trying to like put your running shoes on in the morning and then why go through that? Why don't you just hack the system, become a runner in your mind, and then you'll do it effortlessly. Become the kind of person that is meant to be a millionaire, that is meant to live a beautiful big life. And then things start happening around you because your self-image is already adjusted. You're naturally going to want to do the work that you need to do. You're naturally going to want to put your running shoes on. It's like the most revolutionary personal development change in belief that I had to go through, because I was doing it the average way, like how everyone was doing it. I was doing the vision boards, I was doing this, that, and it was working a little bit, but this is what just like amplified everything. And it's like, I'm putting way less effort in than I used to, and I'm seeing 10 times more results.
That is so interesting. And when I think about the heart piece, it's kind of like with learning or anything in your life. Like if your heart's not in it and you're like, I don't want to run today, but I got to force myself to run. I would rather want to do it. I would rather be like, I want to go outside and work out right now. And so then it's almost like those activations shift your heart mentality and how you actually view yourself.
I like how you say the heart thing, because activations and visualization, it's not just about thinking what you want. That's why vision boards, like I haven't done them in years, because it's like, okay, I'm seeing a picture on a board. It's still great if you're able to look at it and feel a certain way. But visualization is all about feeling that visualization, not thinking it.
Yeah.
Your energetic biofield around your body, it's influenced by how you feel.
Yeah.
It is this, like, just feel right now. Like, everyone listening, how does it feel being in your body right now? Just notice what you're radiating outside of you, inside of you, about a meter or two around you. What is your energy like? And this is not super spiritual. This is just basic. Like, what are you exuding? What energy are you exuding? Feel it in your body. And you'll notice that the source of that comes from your heart a lot of the time. So you're so right in mentioning the heart. It's the source of how we feel. Love, abundance, bliss, awe, a love for life. That comes from here.
Yeah.
And that brings that closer to you. But you need to just link this energy with the thoughts and beliefs and your entire self-image to get what you want.
Yeah. You're right. When someone walks in a room, you can feel their energy. You can feel what they're about, if they're excited about life, if they're just going for it, if they want to be there versus someone coming in and maybe they're feeling more inward or they're more insecure, and all different kinds of things they could be feeling negatively. So all this is in your app called Superhuman.
So
I cannot wait to try it. What kind of categories are there? Like what does it limit to? Like, is there stuff about like insecure body image, insecure the way you look? Like what's
Ellen,
in it?
There's everything. We have like almost 700 activations on the app.
Wow.
And they're all meticulously created with a team of audio engineers that find the best music to match the exact energy that you need to embody.
That is really rad.
I'm so excited for you to try it.
Yes.
Like, we also have a motherhood category. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
But basically how I created Superhuman activations. First I was doing these activations for myself, and then years later I felt intuitively led to share them with the world, and then people loved them, and then I created an app all about it. And 3 years later, it's grown like wildfire, and we've just started doing marketing like 2 months ago. For the past 2.5 years since launching it, we didn't even like do paid advertising. People were just telling people about it. Word of mouth was our biggest driver, because someone would try it and they would change their lives, and then they would tell their mom, their sister, their cousin. And that's how we grew, because the product was so needed. It's like the people that are out there that have tried traditional meditation and maybe they don't feel like they can stick to it, because it's all about what we can stick to. And listen, I think traditional meditation is amazing for you.
Yeah,
I'd love to do more.
Oh my gosh,
it's great.
I love it too. Yeah.
But this is just a completely different alternative that you can do both, in your routine, or if you're like me and you just couldn't stick to traditional meditation, you just felt shame every time you'd say you would do it and write it in your, journal in the morning, my to-dos for the day. Okay, I'm going to do my meditation, and just never do it. Like, I didn't want to feel shame around that anymore. I wanted to find something that actually resonated with me, that made me feel quite different quite quickly. With activations, I've noticed I never have to put that in my to-dos for the day, because I want to do it. It feels good.
They also feel like they're kind of sometimes for different things, different reasons.
There are so many for different reasons. We have activations for calming down after a family argument. We have activations, a little pep talk before you go into a big meeting to become your best self. We have, a whole array of different categories. I think we have over 15 categories we have seated activations in case you wanted more of that focused experience. But then we also have walking activations, which is one of our most popular category. They're invigorating. They make you feel like you're the main character of your life, like you're in a movie. The music we use, the artists we use for the music, it's just like epic.
I feel like this would be really good for working out.
Oh, yeah. So we have a workout category. We have running activations.
Yeah.
We have just general workout. We have an anytime category if you want to shower or drive.
Yeah.
Like you can listen to these. You know, we have some that are more affirmation based. We have writing activations. I did one this morning, guided journaling. We have cooking, cleaning, pep talks, 2-minute pep talks. We have legs up wall after a long day to, you know, de-stress. We have literally travel, motherhood, everything you could think of. And then when you download the app, you do a quiz and we personalize the content for you.
What are the motherhood ones about?
Yeah, so that was the only category that we needed to get someone else to instruct, because I'm not a mom yet, as you know, and I felt like we needed someone who, you know, really had that experience. So a good friend of mine who's the most incredible, a huge, well-renowned female hormone specialist doctor in Canada, Dr. Mallory. She is a mom, and she is such a soulful, beautiful human. And I said to her, listen, I've never had another voice on the app. At one point we will, but it's just like not the focus right now. But I really want to launch a motherhood category. Can you please come on and just do, you know, a collection for us?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of back and forth, because initially she was recording them with a bit more of a meditative voice. And I'm like, no, these are activations. We want to invigorate our listeners. You know, we'll have these activations on the app where it's like you're in crisis mode, you just need to feel different right away. So we worked together on the production of it, and she created a collection of these incredible activations. I actually want to find the names of some of them. Maybe we can look some of them up.
Yeah.
The title is like, we literally have an activation for everything.
Yeah,
and
I
like,
want to hear the titles.
Okay, I'll tell you the title
good.
is for the motherhood ones.
Yeah.
Maddie is going to come help us here. Thanks, Maddie. Because the motherhood ones, like we have an entire category for women. So Dr. Mallory, since she's a female hormone expert, she also recorded a couple for cycle hacking. So we have like PMS ones, like luteal phase, menstrual phase ones. But then for motherhood, we have affirmations for a positive pregnancy, feeling like yourself as a new mom, feel grateful in the midst of chaos. So like that's a 3-minute one where it's like,
I want that one. That's the one I
everything's
need.
chaotic.
That's the one I need.
You need 3 minutes to
I got
just come
5
back to
kids.
yourself.
Everything is chaotic all the time. Like literally when my husband and I get to bed, all the kids are finally asleep. We look at each other and we're just like,
Yeah,
because
I
there's
can't
so
imagine
many of them, and they're wonderful, and they're our favorite humans in the whole world, and we wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah.
It does take so much of your energy to remain calm throughout all the different ages and the different levels of, you know, how they're feeling.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Like you're a super
different
mom.
humans to take care of at once.
So midday
So this is
reset.
making you a superhuman, a
Yeah,
super
mom. Like midday reset when body insecurities arise. Like maybe you've just given birth and you don't feel like yourself, and you need to hear like a loving, soulful guidance voice telling you that like, listen, like everything's gonna be fine. Like she has so many incredible, she's like a therapist, not actually, but you know, for me she is.
Yeah,
I talk to her about these things.
Yeah.
When you're losing patience with your child.
Oh, that's
like
good.
cultivating presence and
You're like,
appreciating.
hold on, child. Just give me a minute.
Appreciating little moments, like releasing society's expectations, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, feeling confident in your decisions as a mom. There are just so many. Thanks, Maddie. And that's just one category. And that's not even one of the most popular ones, because I guess like there's only a smaller percentage. Well, I don't know, a good percentage of our audience. Well, most of us are actually women, the users of the app, which is funny. It's, you know, it's not gender specific, but I think we resonate with this kind of thing more. But you can, as a mom, use any of the categories. Those are very niche and specific, but you know, the walking ones are amazing if you're walking, you know, with your kid in the stroller and you just need a moment for yourself. It's habit stacking. We're all so busy. You know, like carving out 20 minutes in your morning to meditate is not that realistic for a lot of us. And doing something that makes you feel very different in a short amount of time is also a huge tool, because that's why you're doing it. So I would just like highly recommend people try it. And I know that you have a special link. So if you guys are listening right now and you're going to download the app, go to the website first before downloading the app, because you can get a special discount that Ellen is offering everyone on the website, not the app.
Yes, I'll put it in the link for sure.
Okay.
So do you have any synchronicities or special like manifestation stories since doing these activations?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. It's my favorite because yes, 100% I do. There are so many synchronicities that happen in my life, and I call it manifestation, but my work, it's like quite science-based. Like, I love learning about neuroscience, and I'm very much so in the middle of like spiritual and more scientific and pragmatic. I kind of have one foot in each bucket, and that's what resonates with me the most. So, when I see these synchronicities, I don't know exactly what caused it. All I know is that my energy caused it. So I always say this, an atheist will call it the placebo effect. A scientist will call it quantum physics. A Christian will call it God or prayer. And a spiritualist will call it the law of attraction. I actually am pretty open to many of these different, I don't know exactly what I believe in yet. And I'm honest with that. All I know is that I have seen proof that it works. So, right now I'm kind of in the quantum physics, law of attraction, placebo effect type of bucket. But really, it's pretty wild. And I can explain how this happens afterwards, but I'll tell you a few of my fun stories.
Yeah, I want to hear.
As I mentioned earlier, my parents didn't have a lot of money. I didn't come from a house where abundance was a big thing.
Yeah.
And when I first started on this journey, money was a really big driver for me. I really felt like I needed financial security. And money has been a really fun thing for me to quote manifest, because it's so easy for me to do it. It's also quite factual. You see the numbers. It's not like there isn't much room for, coming up with different reasons. It's it's money, it's facts, it's numbers. So money has been quite a fun one for me over the years, and it was a big focus for me for a long time. So, everything from the first $100,000 month that I had, that was a huge synchronicity and one that just really left me in awe. My business at the time, this was a few years ago, it started doing really well since we launched it. In the subscription space, revenue is very consistent month to month. So my business was doing about $30,000 a month at that point, and it was very consistent.
Yeah.
And I, that month, started to intensely align my energy with six-figure a month Mimi. She felt different to me. I realized that there was a separation. So I just started to do the work that month on intensely visualizing and embodying the energy of $100,000 a month Mimi. It was something that I thought about throughout my day. I would listen to these activations and think about it. It was like my future self frequency that I would tune into, which we can also talk about later, because this is an amazing tool that anyone can start doing right away. And, I just kind of went through my month without thinking. There was a random opportunity that came up that month that came out of nowhere. And I don't know if you remember those bundles that influencers used to sell.
Yes. I did that too.
Yeah.
I did one of those ones.
All I know is that I had a course back in the day. I don't have courses really anymore, that I had on there, and it was very aligned. And I'm like, oh wow, everyone can get this bundle of 400 courses for $97. Of course I'll talk about this.
Yes.
I knew my audience. I knew how much I was, probably going to sell. I've sold things to my audience before. I know what I can make. I understand the limits. Well, I thought so. So I said, yeah, sure. Maybe I'll make 10 grand from this. I'll do it for sure. I'll promote it very organically. Didn't even post about it a crazy amount. I was quite distracted at that time. But I was just very much so in my future self, $100,000 a month Mimi energy. I didn't even look at the sales of this bundle until the end of the month. My business did $30,000. The bundle did exactly $70,000.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I made my first $100,000 that month.
Wow.
But then guess what happens? You kind of lose that energy sometimes, and you go back to your old ways. We're human. We go back and forth. And then obviously it went back to 30, but then over the time I kept elevating my frequency. And now my company does multiple six figures every month.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to that place energetically where I can sustain this reality, and I'll see it if I am not in the right energy that month, for some reason our sales go down. It is the most insane thing how connected it is. And I didn't really know if I believed in this until years ago when I started seeing the proof. The same thing happened with my first $100,000 day. Like I was so in a high frequency, I things added up. So with money, it's always super interesting because I'm quite good at connecting my frequency with the money that I earn. When it comes to relationships and other areas of my life that I desire to have great relationships, to have happy, a happy baseline every day, those are a little bit harder to measure because, again, with money, it's numbers. With happiness, it's like, just it's harder. But I can genuinely say that looking at my baseline happiness levels and my baseline quality of relationships and just the fulfillment that I feel inside of me today is a completely different life to how I lived 10 years ago. It's unrecognizable. And the confidence I feel in myself is just so different. I used to be so insecure, Ellen, like, again, struggled with all these types of eating disorders, self-harm. Like I was really lost when I was younger. And I don't really talk about that a lot because I'm just so disconnected from that time in my life. But I need to remember that that was how I lived all day, every day for years.
Yeah.
And you just kind of grow out of it when you do this work. Well, at least for me.
Yeah. Wow, that is such a cool story.
Yeah.
You've had
There's so many
transformations.
more. Like there's another story. I just got a book deal about 6 months ago with Hay House. My first ever book deal.
Yeah.
And before we started pitching the book, my agent and I was telling her, okay, I'm going to manifest this. She's like, all right, Mimi, whatever. And I told her, I was like, okay, Kate, this is my agent. I said, what I want is a multi-six-figure book deal with Penguin. That was what I was trying to manifest. And she said, okay, that's a little unrealistic. I'm going to be honest with you because someone, that's never written a book before, that has the audience you do, maybe it's going to be around 60, 70, like, want to set your expectations. I'm like, no, it's not going to be that, but you'll see. And then, we started doing the book pitching. Penguin didn't want it, but, a few other big publishers did, including Hay House. And I kind of just was like, all right, whatever. We're going to go with the best next thing kind of thing. And I still, after learning more about Hay House, I now realize they were way more aligned, like, for the authors and everything from, what I thought. But anyway, I get this deal with Hay House and it's, a multi-six-figure book deal. So the pricing is what I ended up manifesting. But 2 weeks after we signed that deal with Hay House, Ellen, my agent calls me and she's like, you're really good at this manifesting thing. I'm like, what do you mean? She was just like, check the news. Penguin just acquired Hay House.
What?
It was crazy.
Wait,
so like
that is crazy.
It is crazy. Obviously, they didn't acquire Hay House because of me, but who knows? Maybe I tuned into something months before knowing that, like, it's just weird things happen.
Yeah.
And it's just a game that we play with ourselves. Like my fiance, Ben, and I, we play this game. Like we live in the Bahamas. We were going to travel to another island. Like this was a year ago. And I told him, I'm like, I want to see the dolphins so badly. I can just feel it. I want to see the dolphins. I want to see wild dolphins. And if we see these wild dolphins, Ben, we should jump off the boat and go swim with them.
Yeah.
And he was like, that is crazy. Like never happens, but okay.
Yeah.
We were in the car driving to the airport to go to this other island. And I said to him, you don't believe in this manifestation thing that much? Because he doesn't. He's very different to me.
Yeah.
But I think now he's really starting to realize.
Yeah, because he's like seeing it and he's like, okay, it's undeniable.
He's seeing the proof.
Yeah.
So I said to him, right now I'm going to embody the energy. And I did like a little activation in the car. I'm like, this is what it's going to feel like when we see the dolphins from the boat. And we're going to be nervous to jump in, but we're going to do it. And I just described him the situation. I kid you not. We land in the Exumas, the place in the Bahamas where we went. We get onto our friend's boat immediately after dropping off her bags. We were going to go to lunch. We got in his boat. Clear, beautiful day. And we see a pod of wild dolphins with a baby, it was the cutest thing in the world. And we're like, are you kidding? And I look at Ben and I'm like, I'm nervous, but I want to jump in. He's like, what did we talk about 3 hours ago in the car? This is happening. We jump in. We swam with these beautiful wild dolphins for like 30, 40 minutes. The little baby was coming up to us, showing us seaweed and playing. It was like the most wild experience.
That is wild.
It's so wild.
That's amazing, Mimi. That is, I feel like that one is like pretty solid. Like it's like
Yeah.
you can't call
You
it's not
can't.
placebo effect. Like that doesn't happen every time you go out on a boat.
No, it
You know
doesn't.
what I mean?
It's
Like,
very rare to see
that is
dolphins like
amazing.
that.
I love a warm, nourishing drink in the morning. Even better when I feel good after drinking it too. Enter Peak Tea's Nanduka. I have been drinking Peak Tea for over a year now, and I'm in love with their new coffee replacement, Nanduka. It's a delicious morning ritual that nourishes rather than depletes. It's made with ceremonial grade cacao, which actually supports our metabolism. Together, the prebiotic fiber in cacao and the prebiotics in the tea support smooth digestion as you start your day. And the slow release caffeine provides sustained energy without crashes, and the functional mushrooms support hormonal imbalance. The Nanduka drink uses up to 20 times the concentration of mushroom extracts for stress relief, and I'm telling you, it tastes amazing and you won't miss your morning coffee. For a limited time, get 15% off plus a free starter kit and propolis throat spray when you shop my link in the show notes. So for people who are really wanting to transform their life, they click on this episode. It's about transforming your life. It's manifesting, and they're hearing your story and they're inspired. What do you recommend? I heard you had this 2-step formula.
Yes.
What do you recommend their first steps they take?
Absolutely. And I want to make it so easy for people I want to help them transform in the easiest, most effortless way possible.
Yeah.
Because there is so much noise out there. Every single self-help expert is going to tell you this 10-step process, and it's going to be complex. And it's actually so much easier than everyone thinks. The first step, there's 2 steps. The first one is clarity. The second one is becoming. All you need to do to change your life is get crystal clear on what it is that you want and the version of you that has it. And number 2 is become that version of you in everyday moments. Embody the self-image that they have. Speak like them, act like them, hold yourself like them, do what they do. Be them energetically and every other way in your life. And those are the only 2 things you need, but it has to start with step 1, clarity. Because if you don't even know what you want, how the hell are you going to get there?
Yeah.
You don't even know what it is.
You're not. I've definitely found that to be true in my life. When I don't have clarity on something, like I just think about my life. I've always kind of known what I wanted in my life. You know, I wanted to be a mom and I wanted to have a lot of kids. Like that was like my goal. It's like, what are you going to be when you grow up? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. I just want to get married and have kids. Like
that's the next era of my life.
Yeah, that's coming up for you. It sounds like. And I never could I have imagined that it would have turned out this way, that I would have 5 beautiful kids. Like I always thought, oh, we'll stop at 3. Like those who have 5, like you're crazy if you have that many. And I turned out having that because I feel like that's what I wanted my entire life, and embodying that was truly my dream. But there have been certain moments in my life after that where I'm like, what do I want in this situation? And I'm not sure. And I go back and forth. I'm talking to my sister, talking to my mom, talking to my husband. He's like, oh, we got to talk about this again. I'm like, because I just don't know, like, what do I do here with this? Nothing happens in that phase. Literally nothing will happen in that phase. When you don't have clarity, like you are not going to make progress towards anything. Like you're just stuck until you have clarity. Once there's clarity, you can like move forward with it. And I love what you said about becoming and embodying, because a lot of times maybe you have clarity on something that you want. Like now I know what I want. But if you don't embody that and know and how to get there, like you're just going to be like, well, how do I do that? Like, how do I, that seems so far away. That seems in the future versus just taking actionable steps to be that. Just be it. And then it just follows through. Like even just like me doing the podcast here in New York and California, like my first season, there was this one episode I really wanted to do. It was a really controversial episode I was going to host. And one of the guests that I really wanted to get on just couldn't make it to Maui because I was recording my first season in Maui. And, you know, most people in Maui were like, oh, I guess it's not going to happen. I was like, no, this is going to happen. Like this has to happen. I need this episode to happen. And these are the people I want on, and there's nobody else I want on but these people. I'm going to fly to this area in California to go. And they were like, what? That is crazy. Why would you do that, Ellen? Like, no, this doesn't make sense. This is your baby podcast. It's such a baby podcast. Like, why would you do this? I'm like, because I need to and I have to. Like, I know that this will be the best episode that I do. Like, this is in my complete heart alignment to do this episode. And it's been my most viral episode I've ever done. I went and I did it. I had to do it. I couldn't let anybody hold me back.
You were so connected with your intuition.
Yes, I was so connected. Like, this episode I have to do.
I have a question. Are you a hypersensitive person?
Like, I don't know. I've heard.
Like, are you very like Do you feel things deeply?
I definitely feel things deeply.
Okay.
What is hypersensitive?
Okay,
What do you mean by that?
I don't mean hypersensitive in a bad way, but I'm
No,
a
I
very
know.
sensitive.
Yeah. Yes, my dad talks about that.
Yeah.
He's like, what a highly sensitive person is. Yeah, I don't really understand it quite. So can you explain it? I'm not
Well,
sure if I am that or not.
It's simple. It's just someone who feels things deeply. And I always used to think that that was a disadvantage. I've always been a very sensitive person. I cry all the time.
I was just gonna say it, like every movie,
in.
the littlest thing, I'm like, I'm feeling it. I'm crying, and my husband's like, "Why are you crying at this?" I'm like, "Because I feel it. I feel like I feel it. I feel like that's me." Is that what you mean?
That's a beautiful thing, and I'm going to tell you why. I used to think it was such a disadvantage being a highly sensitive person, but I actually came to realize, wait a minute, I am so good at manifesting and creating because I'm so connected to my feelings. So that's why I asked, because it's obvious that you also are very intuitive. And when you feel something, you listen to it because it's loud.
Yeah.
Your feelings are strong.
Yeah.
So,
and no amount of anyone telling you can't do it is going to stop it. You're like, I'm doing this.
Exactly. You are so intuitive. And I think, especially as women, we have a gift where we feel things deeply from a generalized perspective. And that is so incredible for this work of manifesting, of embodying your future self energy, of embodying your future self frequency, because you are so connected to what it actually feels like inside and around you that feeling is easy. It's all about feeling and then tweaking that dial for you to feel how you want to feel in everyday moments.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Sometimes it can feel like a disadvantage if you're feeling like so easily over something.
Absolutely.
But
especially as women in business. I don't know about you, but oh my gosh, being on like a conference call with all these middle-aged businessmen and I'm like stressed. I'm like in tears. I'm like, okay, hold it together, Mimi.
it's do an activation.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's a superpower is what I've had to realize, because I used to think it was such a disadvantage and I used to feel shame about how much I felt. But I'm like, wait, isn't this kind of how I've created this life? Because I feel so deeply and because I decide what I want to feel as a baseline and I'm really in tune with that. So that was an interesting realization.
Yeah. So I guess it's a little bit how you channel those feelings.
Yeah. Just like the acknowledgement of it, and the more you feel, the more you feel. The deeper you feel, the deeper you feel. It's just remembering that this is something that you can do, is you can tune your frequency.
Yeah.
And I'd love to tell you about the future self frequency thing that I use, because anyone can do it anytime.
Yeah. Explain it.
This is another thing that the term I created, future self frequency, when I teach this work. And obviously, the how that I teach is activations. It's the best thing that I've been able to, find for this, but you don't actually, you can do it right now. Like, you don't have to rely on activations. You can do it yourself right now. So first, and this is part of the clarity bucket, your future self frequency, you must design. So you must get very clear on what it feels like to be your future self. That is the future self frequency. And it is a feeling that is unique to you, because everyone feels things in a slightly different way. Like if I tell you right now, feel abundance in your body, it's going to feel slightly differently to how I feel abundance in my body.
Totally.
So your future self frequency is the accumulation of different feelings that make up how you want your future to feel. And anyone can do this right now, wherever you are listening to this. It is a very simple exercise. We also have a ton of activations on Superhuman to help you do this if you want to do this in writing, if you're more of a pen to paper person, or we have a seated activation to help you really connect. But you can do it right now without anything, just listening to this podcast. So first, you need to add the layers of the different energies that your future self feels like. So think about your ultimate future, Ellen.
Okay, so we're doing this. We're doing this like live on air. We're
live
doing
on
like,
air.
Like thinking about our future self frequency.
Yes, you can manifest starting now.
I'm so excited about this. Let's do it.
Okay, so everyone listening, and Ellen in front of me right now.
Yes.
Think about your ultimate future. Super simple. Where do you want to be in your life? You don't have to think about a specific age, just general. Your future. What do you want? Is it abundance, wealth, clarity, groundedness, calmness, bliss, awe? I love awe because it's like the universe showing you, like, it's just like, wow, an awe of being alive. Is it radiant health, feeling just the most healthiest version of yourself? Is it love? Is it fulfillment? I'm going to do this exercise with the ones that are quite common so everyone can resonate.
Okay.
So first, just very simply from a baseline perspective here, feel what it feels like to be so in love with your life. Like just generally, like a love for life, this invigorating love and excitement towards your life, a love for the people in your life. Feel love as the first layer of this future self frequency. You feel it in your chest. Feel the physical sensations, you know? Feel it in your chest. You feel it spreading around your whole body. Feel it inside of you and around you. This feeling of love. Just this love. It comes with gratitude, love. Love. Hold on to that energy and now begin mixing in the next layer. So hold on to love as a baseline, but just bring in now this energy of abundance, whether that's financial abundance, whether that's an abundance of opportunities, an abundance of whatever you want in your life, abundance. For me, it's more financial abundance, wealth, whatever that is for you. You have a baseline of love, and now you're bringing in abundance, but still hold on to that love. Just mix that energy in with abundance. So you're feeling love and you're feeling expanded and you're feeling this like excitement from the abundance. And then let's say the next layer is health, vitality. So as you hold on, and we're doing this very quickly now, so it's okay if you drop off a little bit, but just keep focusing on it. You have love, you have abundance. Hold on to that very unique new frequency of the combination, and then we're going to add in health. How would it feel to add in this radiant vitality, the feeling of being unlimited in your body? Mix all those three feelings together. You're already creating your future self frequency. And then what's something else that you would like to add in?
I think like a calm.
Groundedness.
Yeah,
and
like
calm.
groundedness.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So the fourth layer, let's say it's groundedness, a calm, strong, beautiful groundedness. And you're mixing that in again with love, with abundance, with health, groundedness, peace. Just knowing that you're exactly where you need to be. You're in the exact perfect place and everything you want is unfolding exactly as it should. It's trust, groundedness, calmness. And all of those four energies mixed together, that makes up, if those are the emotions that you will select, your future self frequency. And the trick is to tune into this frequency in everyday moments while you are brushing your teeth in the morning, while you are tucking your kids in at night for bedtime. It doesn't change anything but how you feel. But then yet it changes everything.
Wow, that was beautiful. I love that.
Thank
oh my
you.
gosh, like all of it together. It's not just one thing that you want to feel, and it's all the things.
It's all of it.
All the beauty that you want in your life.
Yeah.
And channeling it now.
Exactly. What would it be like if it all happened all together at the same time?
Yeah, because I think people think, oh, this is in the future. I'll have to do something now to like get it in the future, but you're essentially channeling it to feel it now.
Oh my gosh, Ellen, that was the biggest thing I've realized on my journey of creating this life. Even if you get there, if you are not used to feeling it before getting there, you're not even going to feel it when you get there.
Oh my gosh.
I'm being this is the most mind F thing that happened to me in my journey. I was so hyper focused at first of getting there that even when I got there, I wasn't even feeling that happy and abundant because I was like, what the heck?
Yes.
And then when I started doing this work, it like makes you grow at such a fast pace and it gets you there faster because you're already feeling it.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, you feel it even more. And that's something that I wish I could tell my younger self. It's like, feel the feelings now, girl. You're going to get there faster by doing so, and you're going to enjoy your life in the process.
Yeah, because otherwise, a lot of times it's just hustle, get it done. I know you hate this thing right now. Like, we hate that we're doing this, but like, we'll get through it and then we'll enjoy our life.
Yeah.
But you want to feel it. Like, you want to be enjoying your life now and through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
so cool. So what is this bounce back rate that you talk about?
Yes, that's actually my book that's coming out next
cool.
spring. It's Bounceback.
So it's basically all about how you need a bounce back rate to be successful. It's
important. So basically, this is the other kind of layer of it all. this entire transformation that I explained to you, I never had one perfect day throughout this entire journey. And the goal at the beginning was perfection because I am a recovering perfectionist. But the truth is, there is not one person on this planet, even the most successful, most happiest, healthiest, successful, beautiful people, they never have had one perfect day. And when I mean perfect, or what I mean by saying perfect is, you know, doing what everyone says you should do, waking up at 5 a.m., doing a cold plunge, doing a 10-minute meditation, you know, not procrastinating, eating organic and gluten-free and blah, 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 the entire day perfectly, not having one negative thought.
Yeah.
The whole way that these successful people have created success is not by being perfect. It is by having a quick bounce back rate. It is by bouncing back quickly. They had a cookie, someone with a great body. They had a cookie. All right, that's it. They're just going to eat healthy in their next meal. They're not going to binge.
They're not going to worry about it.
They're not going to wait till Monday or the new year to start again. They just bounce back freaking fast.
That's so true.
So this is the key. And no one's talking about this, by the way, because the most successful people out there don't want to admit that they're not perfect. So they create this like image of perfection.
That's kind of true. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, it's not sexy to talk about. So the bounce back rate, it's really this foundation, like the book Bounce Back. It is based on the bounce back rate, but it encapsulates so much more. I'm still in the process of writing the book, and I don't know exactly how it's going to end up, and the manuscript's due in 2 months. But essentially, it will also cover clarity, becoming. It's going to be all about my whole life teachings. But it's foundationally built on the bounce back rate because with clarity, with becoming, it's like you're going to fall off track. So the key, the tool to actually keep going back to it, the tool to pick up, you know, your activations after in the middle of a day where you're not feeling yourself, the tool is to actually in your mind realize, change your belief system and stop being a perfectionist and realize that it's more about how quickly you get back on track, not about perfection.
So that's why you said recovering perfectionist.
Yeah.
Because being a perfectionist you think doesn't serve you.
Oh, no. You know, I'm going to be honest here. Like I think parts of my perfectionism has actually benefited me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because I have high standards, you know, for my app, for example, for the activations that we upload. Like I am meticulous.
Yeah.
It takes me hours to create one often.
I mean, that's how I am with my podcast too.
Yes.
Like some people might think, well, why go through all this effort? Like one of my guests was like, why are we doing this in person when we could just do it Zoom? I'm like, because it's 1,000 times better in person. Why would we not do it in person? She's like, this is just so much effort. And I'm like, yeah, but it's worth it. So because I want to feel your energy, because I want to see it on screen. People want to see it. I like to see it at least. I like to see when I watch podcasts. So you go through that extra effort, and I'm very perfectionist about in those ways. And I do think it has served me in some ways. But
Absolutely.
Having that mindset of like failure, if you make a mistake and you can't bounce back, you're right, is the problem if you don't have that.
So I will say, if you were a perfectionist to the point where you needed to do this podcast in person, but it had to be in this exact studio at this exact time, and it never happened because it was so specific, then that's not good. But the fact, like we still, you know, will like manage these expectations. But I think being a perfectionist has served me in so many ways. I don't want to get rid of it fully in those areas where it's about fulfillment and about my passion. But I'm talking about perfectionist qualities when, you know, back in the day I would wake up and if I skipped my morning routine, I would feel shame and guilt all day, and then I'd have to wait till the next morning to have a good day because I was like, oh, I didn't do it perfectly in the morning, so might as well have this day as a write-off. Or back when I had like a bulimia binge eating disorder, I would like have one cookie and then eat the entire thing because I'm like, oh, I'm a failure. I might as well, like I fucked up, you know, sorry for my French.
That's
but
fine.
you know, it's you know, there's so many different sides to it. As businesswomen, especially with doing things that we're passionate about, having a perfectionistic quality about us is actually really great. And I think people that have this quality end up having more success. But you need to know that if, for example, things aren't happening in the exact perfect way that you planned, don't stop don't stop now. Like bounce back and then figure out a solution, or, you know, like pivot. Be adaptable. When you're a perfectionist, you can't adapt. And this happens in business too, you know, like for example, like the founder of Slack, like they were going to start a complete, like him and his team when they first started
What is
working
Slack?
together. Slack?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a business tool. It's like a chat tool for businesses, and it's like a multi-billion-dollar company.
Okay.
So, for example, this is just an example that I have just written for my book, so it's top of mind. The founder of Slack, they were initially creating a different type of technology, but like to communicate between teams, they created this chat technology where they were easily able, it was kind of like email, but not really. It was kind of like text messages, but not really. It was like a different platform for communication for teams. And then they realized, wait a minute, this is this amazing idea that doesn't exist. And we actually see this being bigger than the original tech product that we were building. So they pivoted. And now Slack is like, again, they've made billions off of it. Like just being open and adaptable with every area of your life, whether that's business, whether that's seeing potential in different people for relationships, whether that's being open about like what you want to do for your side hustle or your next business. Like just being open has served me so much in my life with everything. And that's something that you can't really do as like a hyper perfectionist.
True. Like open to the opportunities that come to you
Yes.
and how to pivot and shift.
Yes.
That's beautiful. So what about anybody listening who loves these ideas? They're like, yes, I'm in. I want to do that. I want to be like Mimi, or I want to be like my best version of myself rather than want to be like Mimi. I just want to be my best version of myself and what my future self is. But they don't have clarity. How do they get clarity?
Oh my goodness. It's so funny because clarity is one of those things that so many people just wait for. They wait for it to happen to them, but you have to go out and find it because, well, at least from my experience, I did not know what I wanted to do with my entire life when I was at that breaking point almost 10 years ago. And what I did is I took control of my future. I went out and I bought a big empty journal and I locked myself in my dorm room at college, at university. And I just decided that I was going to write. I was going to turn off my phone and technology and put myself in a position where I could actually get that clarity and listen to my intuition and think, because we're living in an age of distraction. So that is the first step, is like put away your distractions just for a moment to try to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so I bought this journal and I just decided to write as much as I could. I would brainstorm because I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do with my work, with career. So I was like, okay, what am I good at? And I just wrote a list of qualities that I have. And then what am I not good at? And I wrote a list of qualities that I'm not so great at. And then I just brain dumped and I brainstormed. And anyone can do this with a pen and paper. Isolate yourself in a room, put yourself in a situation where you can just be clear and just write. And even if you don't know what to write about at first, when you start, you just have to keep going and something will come out. And that was one of the best ways that I found clarity at the beginning. But you also need to be slightly unattached to things happening exactly as you want, because things will change. My first time doing this journaling, I didn't realize I was going to create an app with these activations that would change my life and tens of thousands of other people's lives, because it didn't exist yet. It didn't get to the place to have that realization, to have to need that thing myself yet. So I thought, okay, I'm going to own an online magazine, and I'm good at writing. I'm good at, expressing myself. And, I went in that direction. That brought me to London. That brought me to hustling like crazy in my early 20s and, wanting to figure out what I could do to make this online magazine happen. And then, so it's this trickle effect. So I would say writing is one of the best tools for clarity. And once you get clarity on the thing that you want, then you need to get clarity on how it feels to have it. And then we already went through the future self frequency exercise. And that is a lot easier with activations, with audio.
That is so cool. I love those tips for people. My skincare routine changed forever when my sister introduced me to Osea, an ocean-inspired skincare line that set a new industry standard in 1996 by prioritizing naturally derived ingredients, which we now know as clean beauty. And let me tell you, the most game-changing routine for my body care has been this killer trio combination. In the shower, I use the Salt of the Earth body scrub, a mineral-rich scrub that leaves my skin feeling smooth and rejuvenated. Then I dry off and nourish my skin with the Undaria algae body oil, and to seal in all that moisture, I finish with the Undaria algae body butter, leaving my skin feeling silky soft and deeply nourished. You guys, I'm telling you, it's absolutely decadent. And the combination of these three products takes years off my skin. In celebration of Clean Beauty Day, use my code Fisher_10 with with the links in my show notes to perfect your own body care ritual. I think a lot of times people they want that passion-driven life and they just don't know what they want in their life. And I mean, or I liked what you said too about the pivoting and being open to things, because like I said earlier, I didn't really want a career. I'm like, I just want to be a mom, and I just want to mom my whole, this next phase of my life. And then it was because I was open to the possibilities of what could happen that this, the career that I ended up creating or forming, curated, happened because I was open. It was just coming to me. And I realized that by doing this, I actually created more of the life that I wanted, because my husband and I get to be at home with our kids together. Rather than him being gone at work all day, which is part of what I always wanted, was to create this beautiful life together. It's part of why we moved to Hawaii 11 years ago, because we wanted to raise our kids together, more in nature, growing our own food and being barefoot at waterfalls and doing really unique community adventures and just that kind of lifestyle. And because the type of career that just happened so organically and naturally, I took a hold of it and went for it, rather than missing that opportunity because it wasn't in my my vision that I wanted, It's
incredible. You've created your dream life.
Thank you.
And everyone around can see it. You literally radiate dream life.
Oh, thank you.
And that's why people want to, listen to what you have to say. It's so inspiring. And I love talking to women who've done it too. It's just so invigorating,
Thank you so much. That's so nice. So what is the science behind Superhuman? You said you know a lot of the science about it.
Yes. Yeah. So there are so many things. The first one, and this is pretty much with all manifestation, people don't really talk about the science much. The first one that is so easy to understand is the reticular activating system in your brain. So we all have something in our brains called the RAS, the reticular activating system. And this is essentially a filtration system in your brain that consciously, or that decides what you consciously see and what you don't see. So if we didn't have the RAS, our brains would explode. There's way too much information around us at all times. We'd be noticing the buzzing over there, the this, the that, the color of that. It would be way too overwhelming.
Yeah.
The way that we can think the way we do is with our RAS. And it brings to our attention the things that it believes are important. And our RAS is triggered by our belief system. And our thoughts and what is consciously present in our minds. So I'll give you a very simple example that has been used loads when talking about the RAS. The red car example. If you're thinking about buying a red car, you start seeing it everywhere, okay? If you start thinking about a beauty product you want, you start seeing it everywhere. You just notice where it is because it's already in your conscious mind. But think about it on a deeper level. What if you started to think about how you are actually an opportunity magnet? You are actually a lucky person. It's the whole lucky girl energy thing on TikTok. This existed years ago in this space. Because
I didn't know this is a thing on TikTok.
Oh, really?
I don't have TikTok, so.
Never get it.
No, but I hear it. Yeah, no, I will. That is my thing. I'm not getting TikTok, but I love what you said, the lucky girl energy.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, I didn't create it. It was a trend on TikTok about a year ago, but it was all about how these people were going out and saying, well, I'm lucky, so I'm going to put out lucky girl energy and things are going to happen in my life. It's triggering your RAS, having these beliefs that I am a lucky person.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm a lucky person. Opportunities are everywhere. If you see, if your ideology of the world is that there is opportunity everywhere, that you are not a victim, that you are empowered, guess what is going to happen? Your RAS is going to be triggered in a certain way. It's going to filter out new information, and you're going to start seeing that person you met 3 years ago that might have an opportunity for you because his business is similar to yours. Or you're going to start seeing that, open car spot in front of the grocery store when you were already having a bad day, but it's little note from the universe, okay, everything, you're a lucky person. Good things happen to you. You're supported. You're going to start to notice things that could be of benefit to you. And you're going to see reasons why you are a lucky person, why good things happen to you, why opportunities are everywhere. But on the contrary, Ellen, if you have a victim mentality towards life, if you truly believe that you are not the creator of your life, that you are a victim, that you are unlucky, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see reasons everywhere why that is the truth.
Totally, you will.
And I think the worst thing you can do is victimize someone, because then it puts them in a box and then they feel stuck. The real thing you should do is the opposite. You should empower people and tell them you are 100% responsible for your life. And guess what? That means you can create whatever future you want. No matter where you are now, no matter where you started, you can still create this extraordinary life because you are the creator. And if you do these things and you become this type of person, you're going to get there. So the RAS is a massive thing that we need to look at, because it just shows how our thoughts and beliefs literally create our life. It creates, the narrative of our lives. It literally dictates what we see, what we do not see.
Yeah.
So that is a mega thing. And then there's all of the intricacies of how, thinking new thoughts and thinking new and feeling new beliefs and thinking new beliefs, creates new neural pathways in your brain. And they're more like, scientific brain concepts like that. But really the biggest thing you need to know is the RAS. It's the most simple thing that's super easy to understand, super straightforward. And it just shows how this works. And then when your RAS is triggered in a certain way and you use self-image psychology to show yourself like a certain type of person, to embody the energy, to position yourself and hold yourself in a certain way, then people are going to see you differently, treat you differently, and give you more opportunities, and, consider you for something that they're doing with work, or consider you to introduce you to this guy he knows that, could be your future husband. Like, people, the world is so big. If you go out in the world with a certain energy, things will start happening to you.
I know that you're resonating so much with my sister right now. I know she's going to be listening to this and being like, yes.
Oh
Like,
my
she's
gosh.
so into this. Like, whenever I get into a rut about something, like, oh, this thing isn't working, like, and we might like vent to each other, talk to each other. She's like, okay, channel that energy. Like, it's happening. Like, put it out there. And how can you create this? Like, you can do it. And in what way can you create it and make it happen? And before you know it, I'm finding, oh wait, there's an opportunity here. Actually, I hadn't even thought of that. Like, I could reach out to that person. Okay, let me try. But it's like, and just, okay, you know what? Yes, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do this. I can do it. And you just keep doing things in a way, like you mentioned, about just putting it out there and going for it and seeing it. Because
you stop holding yourself back.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times we hold ourselves back.
Oh my God. All the time we hold ourselves back.
Yeah.
It's crazy how just this one belief shift can be the difference between you living a quote average life and you living an extraordinary life.
Yeah, a lot of times people will look at somebody who's super successful, whatever that word success means for them. It can be very different because there's all different kinds of success, depending on what that person's view of it is. They might look at it and think, oh, well, they just got lucky, or that they just, the lucky girl energy thing, even that, it's like you're putting that lucky girl energy, but like you're doing something to create that. It's not just luck. It's that you're putting it out there and you're working towards it. You're seeing it. You're looking for it. Whereas with the victim mentality, you're looking for the negative. Yeah. And I've talked about the RAS actually with other guests. Yeah, with my friends Heather and Kent McKean on the mind change method. So like I'm super into the growth mindset, the power of the mind body connection, and the subconscious mind, because a lot of the things you're talking about are really subconscious. People don't even realize that they're thinking these things about themselves and about their potential until they shift it.
Exactly.
That is so cool. So kind of rounding out this conversation, I'm really curious, what are you currently channeling for your future self?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. So I have gotten into a new energy over the past 3-4 months where I'm bringing in a lot more of that calm groundedness that we had actually, it's funny that you mentioned that in the future self frequency exercise, because that's actually a huge thing that I have been bringing in. The first 2 years of me, especially running my business, were pretty chaotic. Like, I was very much so manifesting these big things, but I was very wired and kind of overwhelmed, to be honest, and just felt ungrounded in the process. And I still created that success, but I think this next level version of me really had to tune into that like calm groundedness, because I want my nervous system to be more balanced, and I just want to enjoy life a little bit more.
You're totally speaking my language right
Really?
now. Because I really, like, I am so in that boat. I like,
Yeah.
100%, where it's like I have the passion and the drive and I go for it. Like, I feel like we're similar in this way.
Yes.
That we're both like, yes, we go for it. We know what we want. We do it. We channel it. And then, but then there are times where it's like, that is so freaking busy and it's so overwhelming. And I'm like, wait. I really want to just calm down and have like a grounded experience throughout this.
I don't know about you, but I had the biggest misconception that if I calmed down and grounded myself and like that it would affect how I work in a negative way.
Oh yeah, totally. I see that for sure.
So
like you feel like you have to. Like,
yeah,
like, I have to get this done. Wait, I have to do this, and it's like you're excited about it, you love it, and you're channeling it because you're passionate about it.
But you're overthinking it.
But you're overwhelmed.
Too much.
Yes, unnecessary.
So I am so glad that we're resonant on this because it honestly was the biggest game changer for me when I changed that belief about 4 months ago. I have manifested way more because for me, like my business is my baby right now. Like it's what I'm focusing on the most.
Yeah.
And I, about 4 months ago, came up with this new future self frequency because I adjusted every, 4 or 6 months. And this one was a lot more calm. And I was thinking about who is Mimi's future self. She is calm, grounded. She speaks with clarity. She is this very like grounded, almost like maternal energy in a way. And maybe this is because I'm connecting with the future version of myself who is a mother. But I was just, thinking that she just has so much faith and trust in herself and what's happening in her life. And she knows that the more she tunes into this energy, the more she actually receives what she desires. So I created a reality for myself where I could be grounded and calm and also earn more money than I've ever earned and also have the most intimate, beautiful relationships that I've ever had and also be able to expand my life in all these beautiful ways. And since creating this new set point of my self-image, of my future self frequency, this baseline 4 months ago, I genuinely feel different and everything has reflected in my life. We've started having new ideas for the business. We've started doing, more marketing. We've started just intuitively feeling led to do different things and make certain decisions.
In a calm, grounded way.
So that in like the near future is what I'm continuing to work on. And in more like the coming years, future self Mimi wants to become a mom soon. In the next few years, I'm getting married next
It's
year.
the best thing in the whole world.
I can't wait. This is like when I see your videos, when I see you, I'm like, this is my next era. Like,
I love that.
I cannot wait.
Oh, it's seriously the best thing in the whole entire world.
I cannot wait. I feel so connected to my future children. I have dreams at least 3 times a week that I'm pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
It's
okay, you're going to have the
crazy.
most amazing time. The moment that you meet your baby for the first time, especially the first baby. It is there's something about on every child it's like the most amazing, magnificent, transformative. But there's something about the first baby that literally changes you. Like you bring your baby like when the moment you bring your baby up onto your chest, your squishy, wet, soft baby on your chest, you feel their head, you smell them. Like it is the most transformative moment of my life. Like I could cry about it. Like primal. It really is. It's like my baby that I've been growing. I can't believe you're here. I can't believe I just did that. What did I just do? Like it's like this whole
you grew it.
It's crazy. And instantly it like taps in. I think about my sister because she wasn't sure if she wanted to be a mom. But then when she decided, okay, I do want to be a mom, I'm gonna go for this. During pregnancy, because it wasn't like maybe her heart's desire like it was for me in the beginning, she's like, yeah, okay, I'm really excited to be done being pregnant. Yeah. Like that's what it was. It was I'm excited to be done being pregnant. I can't wait to meet my baby. But then once she met her baby, she's like, holy crap. What? So it even did it to her, right? So even though she was just like, what is this? This is the most amazing thing. Like this is like birth is like my most passionate subject. Like I just love, I'm passionate about a lot of subjects, but I get so excited for people when they're like gonna embark on birth and their first baby.
Okay, well, we have to talk whenever I get pregnant because I really, after watching your birth vlogs, like I was telling you off air, I really want to do unmedicated home births.
Yes.
Like, were you nervous at all? Did you have to consume all the only positive content? Like I'd actually just love to ask you quickly before we end the episode because I'm so curious. Like how did you get into that state of like, unlearning all of what society tells you about how birth is painful.
Well, you're going to love this because it really had to do with the RAS. It had to do with like a method of changing my mind. So my first two labors were incredibly long, incredibly painful, still totally empowering, still totally transformative. And they were beautiful home births. And I was so proud of myself. I did hypnobirthing with the first one. And I remember and hypnobirthing works great for some people. Like, and the way that I describe it because I have a birth course, is I describe it like, for some people, that's all they really need is like, oh yeah, repeating the affirmations and like that does it. But for other people, like they're deep rooted, deep seated subconscious beliefs about what birth feels like is so, you need to change so much more than just saying the words. Like it's so deep rooted that like you can't just say the words. Like you can't just say these positive affirmations. You have to literally feel it. So if you're saying it, you're not feeling it deep in your core. Like you might think you're feeling it, but you have never experienced birth before. So it's like when it hits you, you're just like,
we're speaking the same language.
Yeah. And so I remember in labor, my first time, I was listening to the birth tapes, the hypnobirthing, and I was like, this hypnobirthing is bullshit. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like I was just in so much pain. It was so long. But at one point, I'm just going through the motions. This is my first labor. And then my midwife, who was so amazing, she comes into me and she finally gives me this like firm direction that I really need. She's like, listen, Ellen, listen to the ladies on the lady on the tape. Like really listen. Like you have to do the things that they're saying. You have to relax your birthing muscles. So it's like relax your birthing muscles. And I'm like trying, but I'm not really doing it. I'm just like, oh, this is horrible, Yeah. And then once it was like, listen and relax your muscles right there, or you're never gonna progress. And she said it in this very firm, like it's now or never type thing, because I had already been doing labor for such a long time. And that completely snapped me out of it. I was like, oh, I like really have to do it. I can't just say it. Like I can't just say it out loud. So once I started doing that, then I gave birth like within an hour and a half. And it was amazing like how quickly I transformed going from like 3 to 10. And I just like right then, it's just something switched within me. It was such a mind thing. But in my second labor, I didn't really know that there was anything else. So I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to do birth. Like I'm sure it'll be great. I always hear the second one's easier and faster, because everyone tells you, oh, it's faster because now you know what's coming. But it wasn't faster for me. It was the same. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Why is it taking just as long? It was like 24 hours long or something. And so it was still beautiful birth, but it wasn't until my third one when I met someone who was like really into this like brain body connection and the RAS, reticular activating system. Is that how you say it? Yeah. And that she was like, oh yeah, you could do labor. Like it could be easy. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I've done this twice. Like, it's not easy. I was like, but I would like it to be easy, because you hear those stories, like where some people's like, it was so easy. I just looked down. I was drinking a cup of tea, and there's the baby. Yeah, that it can feel good. And so then she's like, yeah, it's easy. You need to change your mindset, like your subconscious mind. And she's like, just come talk to me, and we'll talk. So we did like a 2-hour, like just talking.
Wow.
And then I gave birth the next week, and it was the most empowering. Like she said, like, what do you want? How long do you want your labor to be? I was like, it would be really nice if it was like between like 6 and 8 hours long. And it was exactly 8 hours long, where my first two were 24 and 26 hours long. What do you want it to feel like? I was like, I want it to feel good. I want to smile. I want to be like laughing through labor. That's exactly what happened. So it's like, it's the RAS. It is literally what it is. It's the brain body connection. It's huge. So you're going to love it.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really feel like, it will just change a lot for me, and I will reach like a new level of wisdom, I think, with having children. I feel like I'm at a certain place now, and I'm so ready and open to
so cool.
just be so much more connected. And
yeah, it's going to be amazing. And then my last two labors after that, because I've had 5 births, like they were also the same. Like someone might think, oh, that was coincidence. But and they just got like just so amazing. And so I think for you to do those activations on birth would be so powerful, because I do think the music is such a powerful piece. That's why people do music in labor, right? But like a lot of times you're kind of not choosing the right music. Right. Like you don't really know exactly.
You need something that like motivates you and inspires you.
That's super cool. That's going to be amazing to get going.
I actually really want to create these birth activations. Let's chat, because I feel like
we should do that.
I feel like if you tell me what I have to say, like we can create
that would be so cool.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Okay, well, stay tuned, everybody, because I cannot wait to listen to your app and to do these activations on Superhuman.
Can't wait to hear how you like them.
Yes, because we talked about it before as we're going to this conversation, but I haven't done them yet. I haven't like really dived in, and now I'm like so convinced and I'm excited.
I can't wait. Because you have to have the knowledge before starting this thing too, because It's really, when I talk about it on podcasts, the podcast listeners that end up using Superhuman, those are the ones that actually end up changing their lives more because they actually understand the background as to why it works.
Yes.
And
the why is huge.
Yeah, it motivates you. The why is what motivates you in those moments where you're like, should I even do it? But we make it super low barrier to entry to try. Like, I am a firm believer that these activations fit a very specific need in the world for the people, again, that don't necessarily feel like meditation makes them feel very different, or they just want something that is more goal oriented. Meditation's amazing to clear your mind.
Yeah, I love meditation.
Activations,
but these are, they're different.
Activations are to help you transform into your future self, not to clear your mind. There's no silent sitting in activations.
Yeah.
So it's just a completely different thing. And it's for people that are more that are focused on like changing, transforming, goal oriented. We make it super low barrier to entry to try. Like I mentioned, we have over 600 activations on the app, and we offer a 2-week free trial and a money back guarantee.
That's cool.
You can only find activations on Superhuman. We created it. We own it. And I know that your listeners also have an insane discount as well.
Yeah.
So the link, I believe it's activations.com/Ellen. Is that right?
I think so.
So if you guys want to try out activations for yourself and just give it a shot, like we wanted to do a 2-week free trial because in 2 weeks, if you actually use this quite regularly, you will see a difference in your life.
Yeah.
We wanted to actually prove to our users that this is something that will transform them before they ever pay.
Yeah.
So we have a money back guarantee, 2-week free trial, and you can get over 60% off on the specific link that we are giving Ellen's listeners. So activations.com/Ellen.
Perfect.
And you'll get over 60% off. We rarely do discounts, and this is a very rare thing, so go check it out. Again, don't go download the app on the App Store to sign up. Go to the website to sign up because you can't really do discounts on the App Store. So the discount is on the website, and then after you can log into the app with your credentials. But
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here. This was such an empowering, inspiring conversation for me. I'm very excited.
Ellen, I am so grateful that you had me on. Thank you so, so much.
Yes, of course. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.